What are Labour's plans for asylum seekers? This is a pretty hot topic at the moment, right? At the moment, what do we have? So asylum seekers are moved into a hotel accommodation, RAF bases. That's where they stay before, whilst they're processed and so on, before they're filtered out. Labour are closing the Bibby Stockholm barge. That's gone, right? Yep. And they will now disperse them through private accommodation, right? So council houses, schools. That's the method moving forward. Right. Okay. Right. So go. What do we make of that one?
Right. So I see a rather good piece of analysis in the Times. Right. So there's 100,000 who are currently in various forms of hotel accommodation.
Yeah, hotels. Yeah.
Okay. That 100,000 at about 1 million miles an hour, Labour are planning to push them through the asylum system. Right. Are you entitled to stay in our country?
Yeah.
Apparently, the Indians are very unlikely to be able to allow to stay. The Albanians, as you well know, are all being slung out anyway. And about 47% of the Vietnamese will be allowed to stay. So effectively, the people that will all be allowed to stay are all Islam followers, which may be a good thing or it may be a bad thing, depending on your views of Islam. Afghanistanis are going to be able to stay. Syrians are going to be able to stay. And Sudanese are going to be able to stay. So that's 67,000 out of the 100,000. That's about 2.5 times the city. You're going to get twice to 3 times the size of the city of Durham, which actually is beyond belief. Yeah. Right? This is still allowing everybody still to come across. So the following then happens. You then get the right immediately to seek a job or claim benefits or face for something else you have to face, which is either find a private accommodation or social housing.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's face that issue. Private accommodation in our country, the rents have gone up dramatically. 67,000 people now looking. Right. Can't imagine what will happen there. Is there that amount of housing anyway? I don't know.
I mean, their most ambitious target is 370,000 a year, right? But that's not. We're talking about illegal immigration here.
We're talking about this right now.
Yeah.
So, and that building
there's already enormous pressure. Is the point? There's no chance.
Correct.
No chance.
Okay. So then the alternative is social housing. Okay. Social housing. So that means council houses. Not the only order, but the council. Well, supposing you're a local person with a family, I don't know, a couple of kids. I mean, a couple of kids you can't afford, by the way. So why have you had them? Well, thanks very much indeed for sending me the bloody bill. Thank you. Why didn't you think about this before you decided to start knocking them out? Okay. So you were that far up the council list. Suddenly, hold on a second. There's a whole load of people from other rather difficult areas of the world, and therefore you've gone down like that. I can't imagine what resentment that would lead to.
I went to, about 6 months ago, I went to Farnborough, which is where they have, they had an asylum seeker centre.
Oh, right.
But it was converted from luxury new flats, which were given planning permission in the first place to alleviate local pressure, right? Yeah. And then immediately these guys come in and they say, actually, no, the Home Office has taken over this whole thing for asylum seekers. And I spoke to everyone in the town square, compassionate people. We don't need to go into any of that. There's no prejudice there. They were saying, look, we are not taking care of our own here first, regardless of skin color. But there are people homeless on the street, and it was all about optics, and the politics of this were just completely out of whack. And as you say, the resentment was enormous. Yeah. If you're doing that across the country in private accommodation and knocking people off the waiting list for social housing, I mean, it'll be a disaster.
Okay, so that then happens. Okay, so of the 30-odd thousand who don't get allowed to stay in our country, I'm sorry, Mr. Whoever it is, you've got to leave. Okay. He said, well, thanks very much. Thank you. He said, how exactly are you planning to make me leave? That's a very good point. So what are we going to do? Pick up people, stick a parachute on them, fly over Vietnam and chuck them out the window?
Yeah, no.
Chuck them out the door. What is going to happen to those? These are numbers that are coming through the Home Office. Okay, so I'm not sitting there making them up, right? Actually, not a bad idea. We could make them up, but these are Home Office Times figures. So how are we going to get 30-odd thousand people to leave the country if they don't want to leave? I mean, what will happen to those people?
I mean, God knows. You don't ask Keir Starmer because he has no idea either. Okay.
Okay.
But
you're in politics. Let me ask you this.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Right. What is Keir Starmer going to do about everybody coming over?
Nothing.
Well, when you say nothing, how acceptable is that for 5? I mean, he's there until 2029.
29,
He is going to be bunged out. You talked about chaos under the Tories, right? Look at this. The guy is he's 1 month in, and there's been more chaos than we even had under those idiots, Truss, Boris and Rishi.
There we go. The point I was going to make is even if we have a perfect system where we somehow can take those who aren't allowed to stay back to their home countries,
okay,
right? Even will the country accept them?
Yeah.
No. The other problem is we don't actually know the country. They don't come with passports and
they throw them away.
You don't have any idea what country they're coming from. Yeah. So where are you going to send them? Even if you had a parachute that activates and blows them off out over the channel, there's nowhere for them to go. We don't know where they're supposed to send them. Okay. That's the point. Okay. And that was the point of whether you think Rwanda was a gimmick or not. That's another topic. But the point of it was it's a deterrent. If you come here, we don't care if you don't have a passport. We'll send you to this country where we have a deal. That was why it was designed.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't have that.
So there is no threat. So if you look at old Starmer and some clapped out human rights lawyer, who enjoyed, by the way, pursuing the Sun journos, all of whom were cleared. And he said, when asked the other day about this, he said, juries get it wrong. Actually, mate, it wasn't the jury who actually decided that. The Lord Chief Justice said these guys should never have been charged in the first effing place. So get your bloody facts right, you useless tosser.
This is slightly tangential, but you're the former, why did they back Keir Starmer in the general election campaign?
Yeah. Politics of the company.
Yeah.
I think there were two issues there. One, if they came out against Starmer, they thought that actually the chief executive might be pursued through the courts.
I knew you were going to say that.
For actually cratering those emails, which the police had asked to be kept, because you can be absolutely sure in those emails. Hello, is that you, Rebecca? Yes, it is. What have you done with the emails? I've got rid of them, sir, through India. Nobody can find them.
It's like,
well done. Well done. There's a bonus in the post. Thanks very much. Go on.
Bloody hell. Right. And then what was the other reason? So you said first.
Leveson 2.
Yeah.
Leveson 2.
And also not wanting to back a loser as well. I imagine that. Is that a myth?
I don't know. I don't know about backing. I don't know. Old Rupert, he's sitting in some bloody 300,000 acres of Montana trying to work out how to get out of here.
Yeah.
What am I doing here on this bloody ranch? You bought it, so. Anyway.
Right.
So, yes, Leveson 2, where under Leveson, you either sign up to the regulator, or anybody that sues you for any reason, you have to pay their costs as well as your own. Well, honestly, only some clapped out High Court judge like Leveson, who was the prosecuting counsel for Ken Dodd, by the way, and managed to get Ken Dodd. As the prosecutor, he managed to get Ken Dodd off tax, not paying his taxes, which was an absolute miracle. So, as an advocate, he was absolutely effing useless, and clearly didn't like journos. But anyway, that's that. Okay, that's it for today's show. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more of this. Hang on to your hats.